Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. I know a lot of people do actually kind of like it. And heck, there are some pretty good pictures on screen, so like, I get it. Look at Nolan. His most memorable scenes are just shot regularly with two characters talking. They're not just stuff flying around on screen. Like, there's nothing actually memorable about stuff just being pretty colors and pretty shapes and pretty whatever. Like, this isn't what we want to see in a movie. Let's just start with the scene of Joe Chill shooting Batman's parents. Or at least we have to assume it's Joe Chill, because it really doesn't matter. We don't even get a sense of them mugging him. It's just a guy that walks up to them and shoots them. And it's not a dark alley either. It looks like it's just a lit area on the street. Like, what is even the point of this? They assume that we already know this Batman's backstory. But, like, if we already know Batman's backstory, what's the point of even showing it? Like, it would be interesting to me, for once, to show this from Batman's perspective himself. It's supposed to be about how this scars this little kid, but it's always shown either from his dad's perspective or from the mugger's perspective. By the way, look at this scene. This is the animated movie Justice League Flashpoint. Like, it's scarring. Like, it's frightening. This is terrifying. Okay, back to this.
Boys, Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent. I love it.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Okay, can we just talk about how the whole first half of this movie is dealing with this conflict of Superman being an alien and if society could trust him, right? And then the bomb goes off at the court hearing. And the rest of the movie, they never mention, like, the bomb going off or the entire debate about whether Superman's an alien, if people can trust him and all that. Like, the emotional core of the movie is whether or not Superman is an alien, but then it just gets totally dropped. The second Batman has a reason to fight him, and
he has the power to wipe out the entire human race.
Not only is it Batman's motivation for going after Superman, it's Lex Luthor's too. They seem to be in 100% agreement for a long time. The only difference is Lex Luthor's kind of being shady, working with the government, but they really have the same motivations. What made the Nolan movies so good is these characters all seem like human beings and you understood why they were doing what they were doing, but Lex Luthor just does things. I guess that's a Joker. But that's not the point. Like, I don't know why he blew up the court building. I kind of get why he made Doomsday to try to kill Superman if Batman failed, but still, it doesn't make any sense. Like, Lex Luthor is shown to be this guy that knows what he's doing and he's thinking about everything going on. It becomes a convoluted mess, and any talk character motivations falls apart, and it's just Zack Snyder wanting cool scenes. When you watch Zack Snyder talk about it in the interviews, he's just saying, oh, I thought it would look cool, and this is what it should be like. Like, what are you talking about?
So, like, to bring the two of them at each other after these sort of psychological events, I think that was cool and fun.
Admittedly, the Man of Steel scene from Batman's perspective was made really well and added depth to Man of Steel. Like, you felt present like you were there with Batman in a way that the rest of the movie you don't ever feel present with. Before I get to the actual fight scene between Batman vs. Superman, can we address that Lex Luthor has more screen time than anyone else, other than maybe Batman? Superman has maybe 3 minutes in the whole 2.5 hour movie. Lex Luthor is in it so much. All the stuff with him dealing with the courthouse and dealing with the Sender and dealing with getting kryptonite there just gets 100% dropped. It's like the whole point of that was just to get the kryptonite to Batman. If you're going to show us all these talking scenes that are building up, like, it leads somewhere. Otherwise you're just wasting our time. Like, all this stuff with Lois Lane, who also has way more screen time than Superman somehow. All this stuff with Lois Lane trying to figure out where the bullets came from gets dropped. All that we learn from that is, oh, Lex Luthor was the one doing the ship. It's not like she uses the information for anything. It's not like anything comes because of it. It's just giving her something to do. And then they fight. And yeah, it's pretty good, I'll admit. But Superman barely, like, flies during it. And really barely even using heat vision, too. Basically just stands there trying to punch him. I know he's trying to go easy on Batman, doesn't want to kill him. He's trying to talk to him.
Hey, down! If I wanted it, you'd be dead already.
But, like, Dark Knight Returns is way better. And yeah, it's still a decent 5-minute scene in the movie, I'll take it. But, like, the reason they fight, they're setting up the whole movie that they're fighting for some reason, some disagreement between them. The actual fight in the movie, when it finally actually happens, 2 minutes before it happens, it's like, oh, Lex has kidnapped Lois and Martha. So that's the reason Batman and Superman are gonna fight. Not because of any actual character issue, not because of any actual, like, conflict between people. It's because, oh, a bad guy's forcing them to fight. Civil War is going to be so much better. Watching Superman fight and just the kryptonite is what gets him every time, and it works okay, but The resolution of Superman just saying Martha to end the fight, it doesn't make sense. Like, if Batman thinks that Superman has the power to destroy the whole world, and that's something that has to be stopped, the fact that he has a mom that's in trouble isn't going to stop Batman from wanting to kill Superman. Maybe it reminds him he's a person, reminds him he's whatever, but Batman's set up in a way that he's so paranoid that Superman is going to destroy the whole world. Not that that's necessarily a good motivation, but assuming the movie's going to be consistent, that's not going to make him want to stop killing Superman when that happens. Regardless of all that, it's still just a super lame way to end the conflict. The Batman solo scene is awesome, though. From the way Batman looks when he's fighting stuff, this may be my favorite Batman. To how true to, like, the Arkham games and the cartoons I grew up with. Even though his motivations are really weird, and the branding thing is just kind of bizarre. Alright, this. Admittedly, and everything else, I always found Doomsday to be kind of a boring antagonist. This fight scene was just dull. They basically just keep running around him, throwing punches. There's no tension, there's no emotion. It's just a little bit cool. I mean, the nuke scene was definitely kind of cool, but they don't even show it go off. They show people watching it go off. And it felt a little too similar to at least in that one, there's some character decisions and stakes. And like, with Superman, he's never actually risking himself. He's never doing anything. Like, Iron Man does it in Avengers. Risking his life, he's making a character decision, goes from being selfish to being like this. While in Batman vs Superman, it's just another thing that happens that's cool on screen. Is you're just wasting our time more. Like, I'm not wanting this to be some overly thoughtful movie. No one expected that. It's just the fact that let's actually have characters in a movie. Let's not just have visuals on screen. Like, if we're gonna just make some fun movie, let's make the movie be fun. If you want a dark, character-driven movie, make a dark, character-driven movie. Also, the reason the Avengers one is way better is because all the stuff about the government being willing to kill people, Iron Man tries to stop that. Here, it's just, like, there's a little bit of Superman trying to save civilians. I mean, not really. But then, Superman dies. But it's weird. Superman dies, but not a single person in the theater gasps. Everyone's just watching the movie like, coming back any second now, any second now, any second now. And then they do the funeral. Batman's talking about him being gone. You're like, maybe he's actually gone, but still, I don't buy it. He's coming back in the next movie. He's definitely coming back in the next movie. Like, no one actually thinks they're going to kill Superman. Like, and also, you kind of forget that they did kill Superman since you weren't processing it as it happened. And then you see the dirt rising on the box. You're like, oh, yeah, you're right. Thanks. It never hits you. You don't care what's happening. It's just so empty. And it proves that, like what proves how bad, how wasted killing Superman was, is if you kill Superman in a movie and no one talks about it after, that's terrible. Like, you failed as a movie. Like, literally no one has even mentioned the fact that Superman died in the movie. Like, this should be like the huge ballsy thing in the movie. Oh, you kill Superman, but no one cared. It's not even seen as a spoiler. Seeing the Marvel clips, it really is just obvious how the whole movie feels like one long trailer. There's no sense of presence. You never feel like you're actually watching the movie. You feel like you're just watching a trailer. I'm not even talking about this being a trailer for Justice League. I'm talking about this being a trailer for Batman vs Superman. You need to feel like you're present there actually going through the events, not just, like, it never feels present or even like a clip of the movie. Like, you never feel like you're there in time with the characters. You just feel like it's a trailer going on. On a good note, though, Flashpoint. Flash, maybe Injustice. But still, like, that scene with Flash warning him was so weird and strange and out of the blue. It was just ballsy. Like, I can't believe they did it and it was in there. It just, I'm sure 90% of people in the movie were just like, what's going on? This is weird. But that was just awesome. And I thought the movie was going to be more stuff like that, since it was just so true to everything else that we've seen. It was so unexpected. And I thought the movie was going to be doing more stuff like this after it happened. So I guess it's just setting up later movies. But still, the worst thing about it is that we've already seen this done better. I mean, admittedly, it was done better in a cartoon, but we've seen this fight done better in Dark Knight Returns. Like, just look at this.
You're feeling it now, aren't you? What the rest of us live with every day. Your own mortality. But I didn't have to go easy on you. A different binding agent, a stronger mix. I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
Yeah, okay, I'm done. That's enough bashing this movie. I'm going to be trying to make more reviews like this in the future, so if you want to subscribe, also leave comments on what you thought. Thanks.